Hello again. Yeah, thanks for agreeing, Nima. We had our first call 2 weeks ago, last week? No, 2 weeks ago, I think. And yeah, you agreed very easily on this episode here. I'm very thankful that you said yes. Yes. So maybe I would like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and then just let's dive right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, yeah, thanks for having me on your podcast. I really enjoy our conversations, our conversation the first time, and would love to chat a little bit more. Yeah. Then maybe I can start with a quick intro about myself. I'm Nima Gard. Right now, I'm director of AI at Path Robotics, and I've been working at Path for over 5 years now. Incredible journey, and love to go into details and talk about that more.
Yeah, this is I think the first time I saw you guys was because Chris Paxton, I think he said congrats to your announcement. What was that again?
Yeah, so we just closed our or announced our Series D. Um, uh, and it's been a fun experience, and it's especially in this market with that raising money is kind of tough, and you really need to show that there is a real product out there and making a great impact, especially for customers. So it's a kind of a good testament that Path is making something that people love.
So path is on the right path. Let's come back to it later on. I think you heard this at least a million times before. But as I said before, this is a people podcast. I'm always interested in about the people that made those kind of things happen. And yeah, let's go back as fast as you not fast as far as you want. We want to dive into the journey of Nima.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I can start with my academic journey and how it started. I was born and raised in Iran in a kind of a small town, not too big, not too small, and I spent majority of my um, life there, and then I went to Tehran, the capital city of Iran, to study civil engineering. So absolutely unrelated to robotics. And I guess the reason that I chose civil engineering was I come from a family. We're mostly engineers. There's a dichotomy in the family. Uh, 50% are electrical engineers, 50% are civil engineers, and the
Mm.
civil engineers made a case that it's a good major, and so I decided to kind of start my uh, academic journey in civil engineering. I was really interested in mathematics and physics, and especially building uh, physical things was a very important thing for me. And I'm a visual learner, and I like to visualize things. So even, that in addition to the way that I like to learn, I felt like civil engineering was the right move and the right degree for me. When I started, I soon realized that yes, I do like those things, but at the same time, I want to work with computers. I want to also build software applications that have something to do with physical work. So I finished my degree, and during the last couple of years of my bachelor's, I had to go back and forth between different universities to take computer programming or programming language courses, which was now that I reflect back on it, it was really interesting. I had to take my civil engineering classes, and then there was a conflict between my department, the courses that were offered there, and then the courses that were offered in the computer science department. So I had to go to a different university, and it was as soon as the class was over at my college, I had to get in a cab, go 10 minutes down the street, go to another university, and sit on that class. So I did that for different classes, but it was clear to me that I really, really liked programming and topics in computer science. So
Uh,
for my
Sorry to
graduate
interrupt you.
studies, I Mhm.
sorry to interrupt you, because this is very interesting. I think I heard this a few times. So you decided to finish the degree, even though you already had the feeling that this is something you would not pursue further, versus um, going to the other direction and going deeper into software. Um, I've talked to a lot of students are ask or PhD people are asking me, what should I do? Should I stay even though right now it's boring, or there's other opportunities in the in the marketplace that offer more value? Or I'm talking to friends of mine, they already finished their degree and there seems to be more money here. Well, how is that for you? And how did you decide on that?
Yeah, it was a tough decision, and the I guess the problem was in the education system at the time. I couldn't easily change my major. So the way that education system works in Iran, you have to take this entrance exam. It's a nationwide entrance exam that you take, and prior to joining or starting your bachelor's, you have to decide which major you want to study. So there is nothing like an undecided or period. Hey, I'm just gonna start studying at this university and then figure out what major I want to study. And once you start that, then it is I couldn't find a way to change my major after I started. And there's an option that you have, and the option is towards the end of your studies, you can do a double major and extend your bachelor's from 4 years to 5 years, because that's probably how long it's going to take to take you get a different degree. So at the time, for me, I couldn't just stop or drop out of the civil engineering major, and I had to finish that. But at the same time, I was taking different courses, auditing classes, and for the graduate study, that was when I kind of went to the major that I was most passionate about.
So it was more not yeah, it was more a practical point of view. So it is making it as short as possible and then just go into the next direction, to the next adventure. Interesting. And was there something that
Yeah, that's correct.
you had the feeling you were alone with this kind of situation, or do you, when you talk to your friends and peers, this was something that others had experienced as well?
No, I had friends who decided to drop out of their major. They were in civil engineering, but they were in other departments. They realized, hey, engineering is not my thing. I wanted to go into medicine, so they had to drop out completely and then study for a year, so they're ready for this nationwide entrance exam and go to that route. And some people decided to get a double major. Some people decided to continue with the major that they had.
Oh, awesome. So so after you finished your bachelor's, then you said, okay, let's see what else I can and I want to, and then yeah, please continue.
Yeah, yeah. So that being said, civil engineering gave me a really, really good foundation, especially in uh, physics and in mathematics. And uh, when I was looking for a graduate major, I came across geodetic engineering, which was very interesting. It is somewhat related to civil engineering. It has elements of computer science, and a lot of there are lots of things that happens in geodetic engineering, but the one thing that I was interested in was computer vision. So it also had the visualization and the geometry and the visual aspect of kind of my interest. So it for me it was a very good and perfect blend of all of my interests, and that's why I decided to study that. And then I was looking for different universities, and it turned out Ohio State had a really, really good program. So I started reaching out, and I ended up getting a master's and PhD in geodetic engineering at Ohio State.
So um, I mean, you speak obviously very good English here. This is a few years into your journey already, but I mean, there is a huge cultural difference between Iran and the US. So, if you don't mind, if this is not too obvious, the question, but yeah, maybe you can tell me a little bit about this. How was it for you, and how? So, but also, I mean, because you have a lot of people that would like to do it overseas, not only necessarily in the US, but Europe or whatsoever. And how hard was it to get in? How did you prepare it? If you don't mind sharing a few of these things, that's yeah, that would be very interesting for me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, when I when I came to the U.S., I think this is a funny story. I was in the airport, and then when you go, pass through security, you go through the X-ray machine to make sure you're not the metal detector and that machine. And the officer says, "Please step down." And I'm like, this is the first time I'm, hearing this. I don't know what that means. And so I got down on my knees. That was, so, so funny that I'm, looking back at it, you say, yeah, but, I just want to, say that, when sure, we take English classes and all of that, but when you go from one culture to another, when you start, speaking a new language, it's very, very helpful to be immersed in that culture. And, making friends, going out and, I don't know, watching movies or, I don't know, going and, working at different places. It definitely helped me uh, really understand the cultural differences and kind of practice on my English and, get better at it every day. But from a cultural perspective, obviously, when you're in a different country, you're watching movies, Hollywood is, selling you a dream, right? And, every city looks really nice, high rises, feel like everywhere is, New York or, or it's, California. But then, when I came to the US, I think that was the it wasn't cultural, but it was very surprising to me that the cities were not all high rises. So just going flying
Ohio.
to Ohio, I was like, well, wait, this does not look like New York City, right? And so I think that was probably the most surprising thing that happened. But then, living here in Columbus, uh, things have changed significantly since I came here about 10 years ago. There are lots of buildings being built. There's constant construction, everywhere. So the city is definitely growing. And I did realize in my early 20s, I was looking for busy cities and looking for, places that you could, I don't know, go to. But uh, after a while, you really get used to this really nice city that has a lot to offer, and people in the city that are very friendly and warm. And there's lots of things happening here in Columbus. The tech scene is growing, the AI scene is growing, and it is actually one of my, I guess, passions or dreams to, build an AI hub here in Columbus. We've got, lots of great companies here, and we're doing machine learning and AI, and I feel like just looking at the caliber of the work that we do here and the type of applications that these different companies are working on is definitely something that I would recommend people looking at. We've got people coming from California, coming from East Coast, so it's Columbus is definitely growing, has a lot to offer, and again, looking back at 10 years ago, I'm not regretting the decision I made. Really, really happy with that.
I mean, the way you speak about the city, you could definitely get in contact with the official tourism bureau and ask if you, because you're absolutely right. There's sometimes such a hype, and people have such high expectation about places, right? And then you come there and you get there, and I mean, there's still always some truth in it. For example, I'm originally from Berlin, and the Berlin hype was very real for, I don't know, at least 15 years. So it used to be a very cheap place, very international place. Food was cheap, rent was very cheap. So students, artists, musicians, it was very nice, vibrant city, right? And then tech came into it. But then also after a few years, as it is with these kind of things, gentrification takes place, right? And then so rent goes up. You have the same kind of cafes, the same kind of restaurants, and everything gets more expensive. And then if you miss the sweet spot where everything is like this, right? Then you realize, oh, the city can be, it's very full, it's loud, and it's dirty. So then after such a time, you look for new places, right? And it seems to be like Ohio, no, sorry, Columbus is right now this place where people that are fed up with other places that used to be very interesting and very hot now think, this is actually pretty nice. There's, as you said, it's a nice place to live at, so nice quality of life, but also job opportunities, interesting people to meet, and then you will have these places, and yeah, very interesting. And yeah, let's try to get into touch with the two of them, because I think they would be very happy to have you as a spokesperson. But coming back to the AI hub idea of you, um, you finished your master's, you finished your PhD, and so what's happening afterwards? So maybe now you can take some time and because this is a robotics AI podcast, and I'm always interested in people that are moving something in that space, and yeah, maybe you can share a bit about the hub dream, and but also talking a bit about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. After finishing my PhD, I did a lot of work in computer vision, photogrammetry, and computer vision. Uh, I didn't really work on robots during my graduate studies, and so I'm getting closer to graduation. I'm looking for obviously a job opportunity, and it was very surprising to me that I was able to or came across Path Robotics, a very new startup, um, recently moved from Cleveland, Ohio to Columbus, Ohio, and they were looking for computer vision engineers. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna send my resume and see what happened. So I did, and I interviewed, and it seemed like there was a really good mutual interest between what Path wanted to do and what I wanted to do. And I started working at Path. I started as a computer vision engineer, and one of the first projects I worked on was all around scene understanding. Because you have robots that are moving around, and the goal is to understand what we are looking at, so that that information can be fed to the rest of the pipelines, to the rest of the algorithms, and we can then make decisions based on that. So I started working on that. It was mainly working with 2D images, with 3D data, and a combination of the two. And after a while, we started hiring more and more people.
How many
And
people have you been at this time?
so I think it was among maybe the first 10, 15 people. I don't exactly remember the number. So we didn't have a lot of people back then. We had different teams. Most teams had 2 to 3 people working on different projects. And it was a fun time. Lots of all-nighters, lots of, weekends. And it was in this, really, uh, you know, dungy place. The ceiling, we make fun of that, or it's a joke. The ceiling, no matter where we go, it leaks, and but it was fun. Now we're in a beautiful place, about 200,000 square feet of manufacturing plant. So we've got lots of robots here, and we've got our entire team working here with us, which is nice. But at that time, again, I was working as a computer vision engineer, and then as we started growing the team, I became an engineering manager. Started recruiting lots and lots of great talent, and um, basically talking about our vision, what we're trying to build, and lots of great and smart people joined the team. And we build awesome products, multiple of them. Happy to go over them and talk about them as well. And then I became the director of AI, and right now I'm working with several teams and perception, world understanding, and robot learning.
The the robotics scene, I think I wrote you on X, I think, or LinkedIn. No, I think it was X. So the robotic community or the AI robotic community um, is pretty vibrant, and there's a lot of exchange happening, and there's a lot of open discussion about problems and how to look at problems. And as I wouldn't consider Ohio or Columbus, Ohio, as a hotspot in that area. How was that for you guys in the early days with recruiting? Because people, it's the Bay Area, right? So it's obviously the Bay Area. It's New York, it's somewhere in California, and so people will have this dream. Some of the universities on the East Coast or West Coast, and so it's the talents and the companies are there. So how was it for you guys to compete with these? Especially as you said that there was a certain time where you were also in charge of hiring people or getting talents. How was it for you to compete with these companies? What was the what? How did you guys solve the idea of going and moving to Ohio?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, imagine renting a place that's over 200,000 square feet in Bay Area. Like it would be, crazy amount of money just to rent that place. But the other reason that we decided to be in Columbus and Midwest is because a lot of our customers are around this place, right? There is manufacturing is happening here, so we want to be close to our customers and have a really nice partnership with them. We don't want to be, hey, here's our product, and you go figure it out yourself. It's mostly around we want to build this together. So we wanted to be close to our customers and our partners, and it worked out pretty well. In terms of hiring, again, talking through the rationale why we're here and talking about the perks of what Columbus and Ohio has to offer. And honestly, Path Robotics, the idea of working in the next generation of intelligent robots, it's selling itself. It's the vision is very clear. We're working on welding, then we move to assembly. But if you think about this entire manufacturing process, it's very easy to see it's endless opportunities. There are lots of processes that go before and after assembly and welding. And just talking about that, and when the candidates realized and the idea clicked for them, it was very easy to for them to say, hey, forget about these cities. I want to work on this project. I want to work on this idea, and I'm passionate about it. And actually, it's a very good thing for us because mindset, in my mind, is one of the most important factors for being successful. If you're obsessed with a problem, if you're really excited about this cool technology that you're building, and you're thinking about the legacy that you're leaving behind, and you care about those things, and that's your North Star, and that's what you want to do. And also, thinking about how much we're helping manufacturers with the real problem that they have, I feel like it is a compelling reason. It's very easy to see why, being at Path makes sense, why being in Columbus makes sense, and, recruiting efforts will all kind of ended up working out well for us.
You were the background in computer vision. So I worked for AI computer, yeah, AI camera vision robotics company in Berlin. And what I found interesting is people coming out of academia, but We had an initiative later on where we really brought engineers, machine learning engineers, and product people to the manufacturing side. You were just mentioning that point, and I would like to understand from your point of view. I mean, a lot of universities do have projects with customers, right? With manufacturing customers, but very often not so much, right? Because there's not too many opportunities, or they are too far away. And you said we are surrounded by our customers. How is that for people that didn't have that kind of connection with the industry? So coming out of academia, or being in academia for most of the time, and now seeing reality. So being on the manufacturing side, on a in a plant, in a factory, on the shop floor, this is different, right? This is people sometimes it's like this is what you use our product for. So there's sometimes a like an eye-opening moment. How is it for you personally, but also for new team members joining, or for the entire team? How is that this kind of connection? I'm building a product not in the lab. I'm building a product together with a customer on site. How is that?
Yeah. So actually, if we go back to how Path was founded, this entire idea of working with manufacturers is ingrained in the fabric of Path. Our co-founders, Alex and Andy, they started with consulting, and they were looking for this idea of what is a something that is real and it's impactful that we have to work on, and they come across a manufacturer, and they started working with them, and then soon realized what the problem is. So when they started, even from the very first day, they were trying to be working with these, real cases, not something that we were building and nobody wants. So that was the idea. So the ideology is to always be working on something that makes sense and is very impactful. When we started working on some of these problems, having the ability to access the robot and actually see what the robot does was very, very good, because we are not only building software, but we are also building the hardware side of things. So we had to optimize hardware and software and build things that go hand in hand.
So it's a
Uh,
turnkey solution you're selling.
Yes, absolutely. So what we are offering is we offer robot as a service, but we are building the entire robotics cell, and we put our software and our algorithms on the cell as well. And we're trying to lower the skill set required to operate these cells. Right? If you look at some statistics, you can see that the average age of a welding engineer is, I believe it's in mid 50s. So that means the new generation is not going into that type of work, and it means the skill set to weld is not there. So there is a huge demand for skilled labor. Now, if you
Uh,
don't have, go ahead.
sorry, just sorry for interrupting, but regarding the or I think it's the education of this kind of profession. So in Germany, we I mean in the last 10, 15 years, so to speak, we really pushed the idea everyone should go into the university, right? So if you would like to have a better life, the majority of jobs needs to be coming out of university. But Germany originally had this kind of education system where you go on site in a small, medium, or big size company, but also to school. So you are alternating between going to school, learning the fundamental things, and this can be practical things, but theoretical things as well, and then being in the company and applying them. So, and this is like a 3-year program. So you're not finishing with a degree, so not university degree, but you're finishing with the diploma, and where you officially have this kind of skill. So welding would normally belong to this kind of category. I think it's an apprenticeship. I don't know the English word for it. So this would be normally this kind of educational path, right? And these paths normally, or generally speaking, are not as well paid as a university path. In the last 10, 15 years, we have more people going into university. You have a deflation of the value of a degree. And as you said, you have Now, job positions, as we have the same demographic that the majority of Western civilizations or Western countries are sharing, a very old population. So you said the average age is like 50. So it's not too far from a retirement. And you said not too
Right.
many more people getting into this kind of jobs. So you see now manual labor. The rise of the value of manual labor because you don't have so many people that can weld. And
Right.
it used to be, or it is a very hard job, a very intense job, and you do need a lot of practice and you do need a lot of skill to do it well. So how's that how's that working for you guys? Was there something that you focused on early on? Because you said, as you said, focusing on the demand, focusing on the pain points. So maybe you can, for people who would like to get into business, getting out of academia, would like to be a founder. So maybe you can share a little bit about this, how this came together. This is very interesting for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're definitely, summarize it really well. So there is a demand for this type of task, job, and there's no demand, salary is going up. So what do? You either have to offshore those positions. So if you have a need to weld something, now you're going somewhere else in different country where the labor is cheaper, or you go into automation. So if you think about tier one automotive industry, that's pretty much the approach that they've taken. They've programmed their robots to do the task repeatedly. Uh, but that works for them for tier one, like BMW, Mercedes, or
Big
Toyota or
volume,
Honda,
low mix.
big volume. Yeah. But now let's change that equation. Let's say I have a low to medium volume and I have a high mix. Now, the time that it takes to program your robot is crazy. It's infeasible. Imagine, I guess I don't know if you know people are familiar with programming robots, but imagine you want to weld a cube. You have all of your faces that you want to put together. If you want to weld the edges of two separate plates, you have to drive the robot. Like imagine that you have a teach pendant, like a Game Boy, from old days. You drive your robot to the start of that edge, and then you drive your robot to the end of that edge, and then you interpolate between that. Now, imagine how many times you have to do it for a cube. Now extrapolate this to a very, very large part, like a truck chassis, and that's the time that it takes to manually move the part to the robot to those points. Now, not only you have to do this, but you also have to program and figure out what are the right welding parameters to set. So now you change your demand for welding knowledge and you turn it into now I have to learn how to operate robots, but I haven't solved my welding gap. What Path offers is getting rid of all of that robot programming and saying, don't worry about robot programming, and you don't need to have welding expertise either. Our software, our intelligence stack will take care of that for you. So that's how we are not we are basically solving a problem instead of creating yet a new pain point for our customers. So if people are starting and they're looking for problems, if they go and do some research and figuring out where the pain point exactly is, and when they come up with a solution, they have to be careful not to create a new pain point. So I think that's the key. If your product solves a portion of this whole big problem, but the pain that it adds is greater than the pain that it was solving, well, that's also a problem.
This is the reason why I asked the question if this is a turnkey solution, because very often you have founders or people that have a lot of or have good expertise or good solutions for certain aspects. But if you're looking at the production line or the workflow, and
Mhm.
then you're looking at some specific where there is pain and where there is people willing to pay for it, but then this is just part of the entire flow. So you're now making one point more efficient, but all the other parts that are within that workflow are not connect are on the periphery of the problem that you're solving and you're not solving. So you can make one little tiny thing more efficient, but the entire thing stays inefficient, right? So,
Right.
but what you say is we take out not only an aspect, but all the things that are connected to that aspect, and we take care of this. So you can more or less make it more modular and having a, I think the favorite wording here is plug and play. So
Yeah.
uh, you can have a solution that is easy to adapt. But now we're getting very into the technical aspects. I'm also interested in that. But if you don't mind me coming back to the person Nima, you said that you have been with the company for 5 years, and the company grew. I think we talked earlier about you're now roughly 100 persons, right? People.
100, 150, 160.
Oh, 150, Okay. So being like this is t times 10, right? X times 10. So to from where you started and where you now. How is it for you in this kind of changing environment? Because there's different levels, and now you just closed the Series D. How is it for you as a person? Because very often when I talk to engineers, and they change positions and they're now becoming managers and not doing only engineering work, but now doing management work as well. That means a lot of administrational stuff, but also boring, yeah, boring stuff. So how is it? How do you guys? How is it for you? How is it for you to grow into this role?
Yep. Yeah. So Path was my first job, and is still my first job. And the way that I look at it, I look at it this way. As Path grows, I'm growing with Path, and vice versa. As I grow, I help Path become a better place. When I started, we didn't have a lot of people on the team. We didn't have a lot of infrastructure in place. When we started growing the team, now there was a need to have to put in place some processes. It was very interesting to me. I've never done I don't know, onboarding process before. I've never at that point designed interview processes, and my problems became more people problems than technical problems. And people problems are also very interesting because people are different. They have different um, desires. They have different opinions, different career
Backgrounds.
goals. Yeah, absolutely. And then at the same time, business has its own agenda and objectives. So it is a multi-objective problem that you have to solve to make sure that you're growing the team, you're making sure the team is happy, but you have to align these interests and objectives both from a business side and also from the people side. I'm a big believer in synergy that we get from team activity. I always think about what I want to do, and I don't believe I can do it all by myself. I think the dreams that I have for creating robots that are intelligent, for creating algorithms that are super performance, and they are working constantly, consistently, and robustly in the field. I don't think I can do it all by myself. And if I can work with a team and I can make sure that they have everything that they need, we are all moving towards that outcome. And I still do, participate in ideation. I still, write code in, my own, free time, nothing on the critical path. So I still, have that, I'm still very much involved in the technical development, but at the same time, I'm, more than excited to help the team to achieve something that is really meaningful and impactful in the real world setting.
And is that because you said you are now writing code in your free time? Is that something that you grow into and really are comfortable with and liking? Because sometimes I hear that now I'm doing things that is further away from the things I used to do and I really liked. And then as an example, my former company, the CEO, he backed off or stepped back from being CEO. He was founder and CEO, but he went back into product. Says I've been a CEO now for a few years, but it's too CEO heavy for me. I really would like to go back to the product. So he said there might be other people who are more suitable doing CEO stuff, and I'm more than comfortable to just not just, but being a product person, right? And going back to my roots and where I have the biggest expertise and where I can really move the needle. And is there
Mhm.
something that, because if you have seen other people, onboarded other people, growed other, grew the teams, is that something that is, how is that for you?
Yeah. I guess maybe to answer the question, whether it's needed or not. I feel like staying in touch with the technical aspect and still writing code, doing ideation and reading papers or participating in different conferences. I think it's all, in my opinion at least, it's necessary. Otherwise, you can think of people being idea generators versus idea validators, right? If you're at least again, in my opinion, if you're not generating your ideas, how can you evaluate ideas if you're not really deep into the details? It's very easy to say, hey, let's at a high level, let's do this or do that, but then when you get to the nitty-gritty details of some project, that's where the activity is. And being very far away from it, at least it's for me, I feel more comfortable understanding the details, and that helps me with decision making. Obviously, there are people who are more comfortable with, hey, these are my questions. This is the information I'm looking for, and I can make a decision based on that. I like the technical aspect of these projects, and I feel like that knowing the details will help me make better decisions.
Corporate tends to have a very clear, structured point of view when it comes to hierarchies, positions, salary. And I have the feeling, at least in the corporates I've been in contact with or worked for, that so you have a very clear catalog of things that you do. So you're not getting paid by the things that you know versus the thing that you do and you are uh, um, execute. The problem is then that if you have an engineer and you have this kind of hierarchy or salary structure, if you would like to move someone up and reward him for good or him or her for good work, then you are tied to a very hard structure, right? And now you have the problem. The only opportunity to pay someone better is giving him other things to do, right? So now you're becoming a manager or team leader or whatsoever, and now I can pay you a little bit more, but now you do less the thing that you're actually good at. And now you're doing
Mhm.
things you have either never learned or don't want to do in the first place, right? So how do you because you said it seems like because you have the engineering background and now you're doing a bit of both, right? You still being technically involved, but you're also growing the team and being there for the team and making decisions. So you feel comfortable with the situation that you are. But what would you, if you have seen good examples, what would you advise from a company point of view, but also from people's perspective? If you are in that position, you would like to earn more, but the company is not able to give you that. On the other side, as a company, so maybe you can um,
Yeah.
give your thoughts here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people should ask themselves this hard question. Um, is this company the right place for me? And the company should ask the question as well, is this person the right person for me? And I feel like, as long as there is a mutual interest, fantastic. And in the beginning, I mentioned this is, something that I try to do to try to align the objectives of the business and the objectives of people and best match places that they're excited about and they add value to the company, right? And then, if it's too hard to do or if it's impossible to do, then it's a very honest conversation. Is this the right place for you to be, or is this the best place, the best person to have? I think as long as people are clear about their objectives and what they want to do, those are very very simple problems to solve. I don't know if that answers the question or not, but
Yeah, I
being
think
clear
it's
and intentional about goals will make things very, very easy.
I think maybe this is first because this is you're in America with an American structure and law system, so to speak, on one side, but also the stage that you guys are in, right? So in a startup, you are more likely to move hierarchies and to focus on things like a individual contributor has more value than an engineer that now becomes a manager, so I can pay him better, right? And I think here you guys are not limiting yourself in this kind of way of thinking and working. Hmm. Finishing off our conversation today, maybe with something you would like to add on. So, what's in your mind for yourself, or what's in mind for Path? Maybe this is something that is similar, or maybe this is different. Maybe yeah, maybe you can say something about this.
Yeah, so I guess again, I really enjoy the projects and the work that we were doing at Path, and uh, really excited about the future of what we're building, and especially the type of application that we were working on, and we're actively hiring. So if anybody's listening to this podcast and they're interested in robotics and they want to be part of a journey that changes the world and has a real impact in manufacturing, especially in the US, just hit us up.
Awesome. Really love this that I can somehow contribute to this. I will ensure that this will find its way into the post accompanying this episode. I was very happy that you said yes, and today even be able to reschedule for an hour so I can yeah having this awesome conversation. And I really love your ears.
Yeah.
Today's the
Well,
last
happy
day
Halloween
of
to everybody.
October. Yes. Yeah, thanks, Nima, for taking the time and being so honest and taking us with you and your journey. I'm looking forward to hear more about you guys, and let's see if there would be one or two applications I can move in your direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again for giving me the opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, say hi and take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.